Welcome to Skytech-Lens. For generations, Ireland and the United States have shared a close bond, rooted in migration and mutual respect. But today, October 2nd, 2025, Ireland is making a dramatic shift, turning away from America and toward Canada. The catalyst? Washington's sudden 100% tariff on branded pharmaceuticals, a move that threatens the very core of Ireland's economy. With the US market effectively closed, Ireland is urgently seeking new partners. Canada, described by Ireland's Prime Minister as the obvious choice, offers stability and open markets. Ireland is now moving to fully ratify the EU-Canada Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, anchoring itself to a bloc that values free trade. A high-level Irish trade mission to Ottawa is already in the works, signaling a deeper partnership ahead. This pivot is more than a reaction. It's a strategic realignment, showing that even the closest allies will look elsewhere when their economic security is threatened. The message from Dublin to Washington is clear. Friendship cannot be taken for granted, and protectionist policies have real consequences. The transatlantic map is being redrawn, and Ireland is leading the way. The Trump administration's aggressive America First trade strategy has sent shockwaves through the global economy. New tariffs on everything from pharmaceuticals to steel have upended decades of integrated supply chains, alienating America's closest allies. The EU and Canada have retaliated with their own tariffs, sparking a trade war that's hurting consumers and businesses on all sides. American households now face higher prices, while businesses warn of inflation and instability. Once unshakable alliances are now in question, as partners seek new options and diversify their relationships. Canada and the EU are building new networks that bypass the US entirely. The US, in trying to shield itself from competition, is instead isolating itself from its friends. The world isn't waiting for America to change course. It's moving on, forging new supply chains and alliances. The global trading system is being fundamentally reshaped, and the US risks being left behind. The trust that once underpinned these relationships has been replaced by a sense of betrayal. The era of American economic dominance is no longer a given. Ireland's economic boom was built on American investment, especially in pharmaceuticals, but the new US tariff has shattered that model overnight. With the American market closed, Ireland's government is moving fast to protect its vital pharmaceutical sector. The solution? A full embrace of CETA, the EU-Canada trade deal, which has already doubled trade between the two countries. For Irish pharma companies, Canada now offers a stable, tariff-free market, a lifeline in a time of crisis. Ireland's upcoming presidency of the EU Council will give it a platform to champion even deeper EU-Canada ties. For Canada, Ireland becomes a powerful ally inside the EU, strengthening its transatlantic reach. This new partnership is creating an English-speaking bridge between North America and Europe, one that bypasses the US. The pharmaceutical crisis has accelerated a realignment based on free trade and mutual respect. Ireland and Canada are seizing the moment to build a new economic axis. The US is no longer the anchor it once was. With US trade policy growing unpredictable, Canada and Mexico have joined forces in a bold new partnership. In September 2025, their leaders signed a strategic agreement to build resilient infrastructure and supply chains independent of the US joint investments in ports, railways, and energy corridors, will allow goods to move freely between the two countries, bypassing American bottlenecks. The partnership also deepens agricultural ties, linking Canadian resources with Mexican industry. As the 2026 CUSMA review looms, Canada and Mexico are preparing a united front, refusing to be played against each other. This new North American axis is a defensive move against US protectionism, but it could grow into a powerful bloc in its own right. When faced with an unreliable partner, nations find new ways to work together. The US-Canada defense partnership is unraveling, with Ottawa redirecting billions in military contracts away from American firms. Tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, key defense materials, are seen as a betrayal, prompting Canada to look to Europe and Asia for its massive submarine replacement project. American contractors aren't even on the short list. Instead, Germany and South Korea are vying for the deal. Canada is using its purchasing power to reward free trading partners and penalize U.S. protectionism. This shift extends beyond submarines. New agreements with Europe are positioning Canada as a key supplier of strategic minerals. By diversifying its defense and industrial ties, Canada is building resilience and reducing dependence on the U.S. Economic statecraft is replacing old alliances, forging new partnerships that better align with Canada's interests. The era of automatic U.S.-Canada defense cooperation is over. Tensions between the U.S. and its allies have reached the Arctic, where Denmark recently accused America of covert interference in Greenland. This has deeply damaged U.S.-Danish relations, reinforcing European fears about American unpredictability. In contrast, Canada is strengthening its partnership with Denmark, joining the global offshore wind alliance and collaborating on green energy projects. Bilateral trade is growing, and Canada is positioning itself as a reliable, respectful partner in the Arctic. The U.S. approach of pressure and interference has weakened trust, while Canada's strategy of cooperation is building influence. The Arctic is becoming a case study in modern diplomacy, coercion versus partnership. As U.S. friendships strain, Canada is quietly building a network of reliable allies. Influence in the 21st century is earned through genuine partnership, not force. The past year's events, from Ireland's pivot to Canada to new alliances in North America and the Arctic, offer a stark lesson for the U.S. aggressive tariffs and broken diplomatic norms haven't brought jobs back. Instead, they've driven allies to seek security elsewhere. These are not temporary shifts. New supply chains and alliances are being built that may last for decades. A zero-sum approach to trade is proving to be lose-lose, even for America. Tariffs meant to protect one industry are damaging many others and severing long-standing relationships. True strength in the 21st century comes from deep, broad friendships, not high trade walls. Allies are assets, not liabilities. The U.S. must relearn the art of diplomacy and cooperation, or risk being left behind in a world that's moving on. The global order is changing, and America's influence is fading. The choice is clear. Rebuild trust, or watch the world move forward without you. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more updates.